Abby here for WaterLogged on behalf of saltwateraquarium.com. This video is going to be about moon jellyfish. I feel like moon jellyfish are growing in popularity, so I wanted to give you a little bit about the life history of a moon jellyfish and tell you 5 things that I think you need to be thinking about before aquadopting some jellyfish into your aquatic family. So let's get started with their life cycle. Now, you're probably familiar with the polyp, what it looks like, and that's the first stage that we're going to talk about in their life cycle. So it's going to be attached to a hard surface, and when the water quality is correct, when they're getting enough food, when the temperature is right, they are going to go through a process called strobilation. Basically, it's going to, the polyp head is kind of going to shrink back down into the base, and the whole piece of it is going to segment itself into little discs. If you've ever seen those Nerf guns that shoot off the discs, it looks kind of like those discs that are stacked up. Now, as time progresses, it will shoot those little discs into the water, and it almost looks like little umbrellas floating around. Now, those are called ephyra, so that's the next stage of a jellyfish. It's kind of hard to tell that these are going to turn into the moon jellyfish, but as time progresses, they will slowly develop that bell that you're familiar with, as well as those stomachs, tentacles, and feeding arms. So as they get bigger, those bells are going to grow. They can get up to the size of a dinner plate once they're fully mature. Now, as they're fully mature, they are going to begin to reproduce. And once the eggs are fertilized, a planula larvae will settle out into the water column and look for a hard surface where it grows for a short period of time before turning into a polyp. And now we've completed that whole cycle. So now you know a little bit about the jellyfish life cycle. Let me tell you a couple things that I think you should keep in mind before you adopt some jellyfish. So the first thing that you need to know is that jellyfish require a very specific type of food. Now, when I took care of jellyfish, we were gut loading live brine shrimp and feeding it to them multiple times a day, especially as they were in that mature stage and we wanted them to reproduce. You don't have to go that route, but it's really good that you're able to gut load things because you know you're going to get them the nutrition that they need. Now, companies out there like Reef Nutrition offer products like pack pods and some of their other copepods that could be good to feed the jellies as they grow, so you might not have to culture live foods if that's not really your jam. Now, the second thing when it comes to taking care of jellyfish is that as you're feeding them so frequently, you're going to need to make sure you stay up on their cleaning. When I took care of them, we would clean the tanks, just do spot cleaning every single day. Now, if cleaning is not really your cup of tea, let that be a warning flag. Something else you have to worry about in addition to them getting dirty from food is things like hydroids that might grow on the plumbing and end up stinging them. Which leads me into my next point is that jellyfish can be very, very fragile. It doesn't take much when it comes to cleaning to accidentally knock them with like a nail or with your cleaning tools, and even worse than that, if you accidentally get a bubble that gets trapped up underneath their bells, it can rip right through the bells and cause them to die. Now, speaking of jellyfish mortality brings me to my next point is that jellyfish don't really have a very long lifespan. 1 to 2 years is the average lifespan of a moon jellyfish. And so unlike some of the other aquatic pets that you might keep that live for 10 and even, hundreds of years with respect to those corals, moon jellyfish aren't going to be around for a very long time. Now, with all of this comes the equipment that you need to care for those jellyfish, which is point number 5 that I'm going to talk about. So jellyfish, moon jellies, can typically be a cold water species, which means your tanks that you're keeping at 78 to 82 degrees, it's not going to cut it for them. You're actually going to need to purchase a chiller, which those can get to be fairly expensive. With all of that food that you're feeding them, you're going to want to make sure you have really good filtration on there, and you're going to want to make sure that you're able to control the flow that's going into the tank. Now, some companies out there make jellyfish tanks that are set and ready to go, but you can also buy jellyfish specific tanks called chrysals that you don't see that often and as a result can be very pricey. So do you want to invest all of this time and energy into taking care of jellyfish? Who's to say? If it's something that you really enjoy, then by all means, definitely go for it. Do a little bit more research. There's a ton of great resources that are out there, like this book by Chad Whitmer. He was one of the first people to grow and cultivate jellyfish, especially in an aquarium setting. That would be Monterey Bay Aquarium. You should definitely check out their jelly exhibits if you have the chance. But there's also groups on Facebook that are a phenomenal resource that have tons of people keeping different species of jellyfish that you can talk to who are happy to give advice. All right, this has been Hillary for WaterLogged on behalf of saltwateraquarium.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.